Okay, students, we're doing set 2 problems for lesson number 6 here in chapter 2. We're on page 98 and we're on problem number 4. And I've already written up here on our board the form that we've learned for inverse variation. Y is equal to A divided by X. And this form is going to help us quite a bit. We're going to see here in our first problem we have a graph of a certain function is shown below, and we can see kind of similar to the one that we saw in when we were doing our example in this lesson, and we can just see a curve coming downward, and it's sort of just coming straight down, and as one number is going up, that would be the x number, the number is going down, so it creates this sort of curve effect. Now, we're told to copy and complete the following table for this function. So we have a table. Let's go ahead and write that. We have x and y, and we're told that it's 1 through 6. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we're only given one value over here, and it's for the x when x is 5, y is 2.4. Okay, we're told to find the other values. Now, as I said, the form is going to help us considerably here because we need to find these answers and we need to understand what this relationship here is. So let's go ahead and plug this information. We have an x value and we have a y value. So we can just go ahead and say, well, the y value is 2.4. So I have 2.4. We know that y is 2.4 in this case, and that's equal to A divided by x, which is 5. All right, so all we did was we substituted the x and y values because we had that. And having two parts of 3, we can always find a third part. You might say, well, how would I be able to find out what a is here? Well, let's go back to a fairly simple way of how when we divide, we know we're also multiplying. We can multiply to find an answer. In this case, when we multiply 2.4 by 5, we should find this. And let me show you a simple example why. So we're looking at decimals, sometimes a little harder. If we wanted to know what number divided by 3 is equal to 2, you may think off the top of your head, oh, that's very easy, that's 6. 6 divided by 3 is equal to 2. But also know that 2 times 3 is equal to 6, right? So there's a relationship between these two numbers and this number, okay? And we're going to learn more further down on how we can handle equations and change where the denominator is. But right now, just look at the simple example here and say, well, if I multiply 2 times 3, I get 6. If I multiply 2 times 4, or 2.4 times 5, I will get 12. So the answer here, okay, is that's 12 divided by 5. So A is now equal to 12. Now that's a very important bit of information because now that we know what A is, we can go ahead and figure out the rest of these numbers. And let me show you why. Okay, well, we're trying to find the Y value, and if we know what A is, and we already said Y is equal to A over X, and A we know is 12, now we can substitute any of the x values below to find out what the y value is. So in the first one, I have an x value of 1. See, we're just plugging in the x value, and we know that 12 divided by 1 is 12. So the y value here is 12. Okay, let's go ahead and then just put in, let me just move over here. And let's do the next one. Y is equal to 12 divided by, well, what's the next x value? 2. Well, that's equal to 6. All right. And what's the next one? Well, y is equal to 12 divided by 3. And 12 divided by 3 is equal to 4. So as you see, we're filling out our table here. We're finding these values. We had to first determine what the A value is based on just the one set of numbers, and now we can apply that A value and find what the Y value is in the other. So we have 12 divided by 4, and we know 12 divided by 4 is 3. And the last one, we have y is equal to 12 divided by 6, and we know that to be 2. Okay? So we're able to fill out the rest of our table after we determine what the a value is. Okay. Now they ask us a few questions. What happens to y if x is tripled? So where do we see it tripling? Well, let's see. 1 to 3, that's a tripling. What happens to the y? Well, we're dividing by 3. So the answer there, what happens to y? It gets divided by 3. Okay. What kind of function is this? Well, we've already learned, that's the title of this chapter, it's an inverse function. It's an inverse variation. Let's see, number 2, write a formula for this function. Well, we had already, let's see, the a value, and having the a value, we can just say, I'm going to write it over here, y is equal to 12 divided by x. Now we know for every x value we can find a y, or even if we had a y value, we can certainly find an x. Of course, we'd have to figure out the value, but this would be the formula. We have our x and our y, and it's in the form of y is equal to a over x. Okay, and use your formula to find the value of y when x is equal to 10. Okay, so, well, x is equal to 10. So we would say y is equal to 12 divided by 10. Now, we don't want to leave things this way. In this particular case, we see we're already using decimals. So what is 10, or is 12 divided by 10? Well, that would be 1.2. So if we had an x value of 10, y would be equal to 1.2. Okay, so that would be problem number 4.